Most of us can relate to a time when our manager has come to us and said, hey, I need you to create this new piece of content, fill in the blank, whatever you want, and then I need you to do it with minimal resources, and I needed it yesterday. Okay, what are you going to do? How do you go from blank page to awesome final draft, well, yesterday? I like to use AI. Now, some people feel like AI is, questioningly taking away your creativity, but I beg to differ. From generating ideas to creating first drafts to helping you revise, AI can speed up your workflow and take care of the repetitive tasks that leave you then with more time to do the creative and technical details that matter most to the content. So, before you can effectively use AI, though, you need to understand a bit more about prompting. And crafting the right types of prompts can really unlock AI's potential. Today I'm going to talk to you about 6 kinds of prompts that I like to use. The first I call, everyone calls, zero shot. What is zero shot? This is your minimal, context-free prompting. It is the, okay, write a 30-second video script about cloud computing. That's it. You are basically relying on whatever the model is already trained on to give you a draft. Perfect. But what if you want a little bit more? What if you need a particular style or format for something? Well, that's where you get few-shot prompting. You're giving some context to the model so that it understands, okay, I need to create an output that is in this particular tone or this particular format. Now, if you want to really have a more detailed step-by-step process, you might use a chain of thought prompt. These prompts, like it sounds like, is asking the model to go step by step and reason through things. So you might say something like, give me a step-by-step output of building a microservice. That model is then going to literally give you an output that is walking through that chain of thought reasoning. Now, what if that output wasn't detailed enough, wasn't technical enough? You might want to do what I like to call, take a deep breath prompt. You're telling the model, slow down and look at the nuance that the technical details require. You're having it literally go deeper into the technical information so that the output is more useful from the get-go. If you really have no idea where to start, you may want to use a BTS prompt. No, this is not the K-pop band, although I love them. It is brainstorm, then select. In here, you're saying, I want to go from a lot of ideas to the best or top ideas. You're asking the model to help you go from here to there. The final selection is still yours, though. Finally, maybe you actually need a little bit of a role play model. So, a role play prompt is going to allow that AI model to assume a particular persona. Perhaps you say, act like a product manager and outline this feature for developers. So the model is then taking on that persona and giving you a particular point of view to improve your content. Now that we've discussed those 6 prompts, let's break the writing process into the 4 stages and look at how AI can help support you while still leaving room for your expertise and individuality. We have brainstorm, outline, draft, and revise as our 4 stages. Let's start with brainstorm, where AI is your idea generator. It can help you to understand your audience, do some market research for you, explore content gaps, maybe gaps even in keywords that you might have, and it can even come up with brainstorming metrics for success. How are you going to evaluate this? Here are some KPIs that are common for this type of asset. So, one example. Imagine you're creating a video about the benefits of containerization in cloud environments. You could prompt the AI by saying, what are the top 5 challenges developers face with container orchestration? Or generate a list of talking points to explain Kubernetes to a beginner. AI can help you with all of those types of prompts. But what can it not do? Well, it is not setting your strategy. It is not telling you what is most important to your audience and your company. It's not going to pick the best idea for you. So picking the final idea is still up to you. And finally, fact-checking. You always have to check AI outputs to make sure that they are accurate and unbiased. Now, moving to the outline phase. This is where AI can help you organize your ideas and your thoughts. Maybe it's taking that big brainstorm that you just did together and helping you identify those key points or a logical flow for the content that you want to make. Maybe it's helping you to actually map out the stages of a script, and so you can create the storyboards together. And, of course, if you're wanting suggestions for how do I go from section A to section B in a way that makes sense, the AI can help identify ideas and optimizations for your flow. So here's an example. Say you're outlining a blog post about using CI/CD pipelines, right, for faster software delivery. You could say, organize the following points into an outline, the benefits, the tools, and stages to implement. The AI might produce that outline that starts with an intro on CI/CD. It might then transition into the tools and conclude with some actionable next steps. What is it not doing? Well, it's not making sure that that output actually strategically aligns to the messaging you need to hit. Alignment is still on you, and it's not guaranteeing that the structure is clear to the audience, so you want to check for clarity and add your own expertise. And finally, it's not going to prioritize or know how to prioritize what's most important in terms of messaging. So priorities are still needing to be set by you so that your business is being served by the content you're creating. All right, we've gotten through brainstorm. We've gotten through outline. Now let's talk drafts. Let me be very clear. AI can help you create a really mediocre first draft. What do I mean by that? I'm just going to say it right now. First draft is not your final draft, okay? So, yes, you can have a audience-tailored, taking into consideration all of the different research and the ideas and the refinement that you've already created to get a first draft, which is great. Blank page syndrome is a real thing, and AI can help you overcome that. It can help you capture that initial style or tone that you want based on, again, the prompts and instructions you've given the model. It can even help you understand and suggest headlines or sections that align to best practices or competitor pages and how, SEO results are showing up. So you can imagine that, you're drafting a developer guide, for instance, to set up microservices. And you say, I want you to write a step-by-step guide for deploying a microservice using Docker and Kubernetes. That's a straightforward draft that you're going to get, right? You've asked for a step-by-step chain of thought prompt, and the output will include containerization. It will include Kubernetes. It will include deployment steps. But then it's your job, right, to refine it to ensure that it's accurate and aligned to your organization's guidelines and the things that you want audiences to learn. So you are still in charge of ensuring that brand alignment and strategy is there, adding the nuance and expertise that only you, the human, can bring, and providing both proprietary data that the model won't have and the heart of the human story that is needed to really, really connect with audiences. So now let's say we are ready, we feel like it's really, really getting close, that draft is so close, and we want to revise. So AI is a great proofreader. It can help you. It can help you suggest things like, okay, here's what you need to do for clarity. And it can come up with ideas for how to make something flow better. Again, it's helping with flow. It might literally be helping with grammar. It can even find gaps. I'll add that up here. Clarity. It can find gaps in the story where maybe you need better, smoother transitions. Also, going back to that role-playing prompt, you can have AI respond to your draft and give feedback based on a particular audience persona, for instance. So you might say, okay, I want you to look at this technical white paper on cloud security best practices and act like you are a CTO reviewing that paper. What feedback would you give and what changes would you suggest? That will stimulate some ideas that then you can weed through and decide what is best. So you are still doing that fact checking. Say that one again. It's worth putting up here twice. Always fact check. You are ensuring that that human tone remains. So keep that humanity in there. And to restate from the beginning, you hold the pen on the final edit. The final draft should always be yours, not AI's. So we've talked about how AI can help with brainstorming and outlining and drafting and revising. We've talked about 6 prompts that can help you to use AI effectively in the writing process. Here are a few tips for before you get started with AI. Make sure that you research your models, right? You need to understand where the data is coming from. You need to make sure that ethical practices are in place and that you have a transparent look at what data is actually being fed into the model so that you know where your outputs are coming from. Plan to talk to AI like a human that you're training. So be specific. Give context when you need context out. Get clear constraints and use examples and personas when you need the AI model to respond in a particular way. Continue providing feedback. Tune. Continue to train that model. The first prompt may not be the best prompt. And finally, of course, check for bias. Check for errors in facts. AI hallucinates, as we know. AI has its limits, yes. It is there to augment your work. It helps accelerate your productivity. But you, the creator, are still very much in charge.